Hey there, it's Susan Hubbard, aka SH Cosplay, and today I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to make boot covers for the new Scarlet Witch costume. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard about Wandavision, which is a pretty amazing short series put on by Marvel and streamable through Disney+. At the very end, when Scarlet Witch actually earns her moniker, she comes back out with this amazing outfit. And within like 3 days, the costume shops had them in their catalogs, which is extremely quick. So that tells me they got some shots of the costume well before everyone else. But the one thing they didn't have is boots or boot covers that go along with it. So I put my little noggin together and I came up with some ideas on how to do it. So first of all, I used the basis of this pattern. It's McCall's, and the model number is M7706, and it is one size. So you're going to have to make your own adjustments on that. The one we're going to be using our basis off is C, and as you can see, they've already used a vinyl type material in it. And this is what the main pieces look like. You have, the main part, then you have your two smaller sides, which are going to, where your zipper is going to go, so that's why it's broken out. The one thing you are going to have to watch is your size. And here's where you can lengthen the boot if you need to, or widen it. And I definitely had to widen it because I have wide calves. My ankles are pretty normal, but my calves are pretty wide. You're supposed to do like interfacing or lining with it, and I'm not doing that because this is going to go over leggings. And the one thing that's nice about the material I have is that it's got this backing, so even if I didn't have leggings and I was putting this straight on my legs, it really wouldn't stick. I have this lovely black vinyl. I did try to get as much of the wrinkling out as possible, but some of the fold lines are still in there, and I'm just going to have to let those relax. This was vinyl I had laying around. I'm not entirely too sure where I got it. I think maybe when my best friend got visited by the fabric fairy godmother, or someone else gave it to me. I don't think I paid for it. And the remnant I had really had just enough to do these boot covers, so we're ecstatic about that. Now you can see there's some modifications. If you go back to this pattern and put it over, we overlay it, you can see I widen it out, and then I made some cutouts based on what images I can find, which is very little from the show because obviously they don't show off a lot of full body, and when they do, you can't see it very well. So what I found was toys from Sideshow Collectibles, and they had all kinds of full body ones that I can zoom in and get a kind of gist of how they went. So the material you're going to need is obviously some vinyl, and you're probably going to want at least half a yard. But just to be on the safe side, maybe go full yard because I don't know how big your legs are going to be for this, so your mileage may vary. I didn't shorten it at all, so I stuck with the 16-inch zipper. I went with this wider one because it would give me a little extra room if I miscalculated on how wide I needed it. This bias tape is from my friend Laura Jane, and she gave me a whole bunch of this, so finally it's nice to have a use for it. It's that nice dark red, and hopefully it matches the costume a little bit. If not, it's going to be pretty close. And this hex pattern fabric is what the contrast panels look like in the boots, and this is from Yaya Han's line that you can get at Joann's, and I only did about a quarter yard because I only need a couple of spots with it. These are the pattern pieces that call for the interfacing, and like I said, I'm not doing those, so I just kind of have them on the side. I don't want to lose them in case I need them for future projects. If you're working with vinyl, you are going to need this plastic foot because the metal ones actually stick to the vinyl, but the plastic do not. So if you're going to work with vinyls, leathers, anything like that, this is the foot you want. And with that being said, let me go set up my sewing stuff. So I've set up my machine, and you can see I have the leather and vinyl friendly foot right there. This is a guide that I like to have because sometimes I don't pay attention and I space out and my stuff drifts. So this will help guide where I want my seam allowance to be. In this pattern, McCall's only gives you 1/2 inch, whereas your Simplicity tends to give you 5/8 of an inch. So definitely double check all your patterns before you go into sewing them. The other thing I did was switch out to these needles, and they are specifically for leather and vinyl and that type of work. Denim, you can do it for. Anything really thick, this is going to be good for. All right, I'm going to start putting them together, and I will be back in a moment. All right, so I stitched on the stripes on the front of the boot covers, and as you can see, I had a little bit of a wobble because there's a slight curve to it, and I really wasn't paying attention. What I should have done at this point is use fusible double-sided tape. I was just too lazy to dig it out of my craft box. But, you know, if I go and redo these, because I can always pop out the stitches, I can redo it that way, or if I make a new set of boots, that's definitely what I'll do. So here I have one finished boot cover, just so you can see where I'm going to be placing this. I'm just going to put it up here, and what I did was glue it around. You can honestly make these boot covers completely without any sort of sewing if you are inclined. Just make sure you get a whole bottle of super glue when you do this. You made it to the end! Hooray! And this is where I'm inserting the obligatory like, share, and subscribe. And if you don't mind, leave a comment below. And I will see you in the next video. Or you'll see me. You know what I mean.